We live in the age of the subscription, and those prices, they're going up all the time. If you're not careful, you can end up paying out loads of money for a bunch of services that might not be worth it. And that got me thinking. Strava, are you worth my money? The year is 2008, and up until this point, cyclists have recorded their bike rides through the medium of a pen and paper in training diaries. I remember filling out Cycling Weekly's mileage calendars, or people simply went for a bike ride armed with only a jam sandwich and a rough idea of what time they'd be home. After launching in 2009 as a phone app that would drain your battery faster than a cav sprint, it quickly became the way that many of us log our rides, our runs, our swims, hikes, and any other kind of activity. But then Strava paywalled a bunch of the features that people loved in May of 2020, and since then, the price has risen quite a bit. Let's start by looking at what Strava costs. In the UK, you're paying £8.99 per month or £55 for a year, which is actually what I do. If you're a student, the price is quite a bit lower, and if you and 3 of your family go in for an annual plan together, you'll be paying £25 each. Then, because Strava acquired the Runner brand recently, you can pop your accounts together for 120 quid a year. There was a time that I was training for a half marathon and I was paying for Runner and Strava separately. So this combined deal is really nice to see for us hybrid athletes. Oh, sorry. But you can actually still use Strava for free. Now, with the free version, you can still upload your rides, join some clubs, and importantly, I think for everyone, you get the safety features where you can hide the start and the end of your ride so that people can't see where you live. Also, people that you select can get a text to follow you in real time, which can be helpful if you run into trouble. Once you've uploaded a ride, you get your basic stats, a map of where you went, and you can keep tabs on your annual training distance in the training calendar. But the main thing that I think made Strava popular is something you now have to pay for. Sprinting for imaginary finish lines, which offer little more than a vague sense of self-worth, has been my entire personality for many years now, but Strava's KOMs and QOMs are out of reach to all but the fastest riders. The people at the top of the leaderboard are ridiculously fast, but you can still keep track of your best time and race your mates. Chasing your local Strava segments is actually quite good fun, and I think that Strava has taken good steps to keep things interesting for the wider majority of riders. If you then get a premium subscription, you'll get access to more than just the top 10 for any segment, with additional leaderboards for the year and by age and weight and things. I understand why Strava put most KOM results behind a paywall, because that is a lot of data that it has to store. But doing this, and added to the fact that most KOMs are out of reach to most of us, kind of makes the whole KOM feature a little bit pointless now. I don't know, do you think the same? Let me know in the comments. Strava's route builder is one of the things that keeps me renewing that subscription each year. For planning road rides, it is the best that I've used, and I'm not surprised. Strava now has a huge database of where people like to ride. So if I select a start and a finish point, its algorithm has quite a good idea of where the nice roads are, and it generally does a good job of routing you on the good stuff. Now, I don't use my personal heat map that much, but I'll sometimes turn on the global heat map to see if a road is well used by other riders. I found this especially helpful in the mountains or when planning a gravel ride, as sometimes you're just a bit unsure of how suitable a road or trail is. If loads of other people have ridden it, then it will generally be okay. It's also very smooth to use on the app, which I have found myself doing quite a bit this year. But it does have competition when it comes to this. Garmin Connect is free to use, and even if you don't have a Garmin, and on desktop at least, the route builder is pretty good. Komoot is also an excellent option, especially if you're a bit more adventure orientated. And then if you use a Wahoo, you'll probably already know, but creating a route on their app, well, that's dead easy. Now, one feature that annoyed me so much that I actually considered cancelling my subscription was the AI. And I think this is the clearest example of a company kind of shoehorning AI in to provide customers with a vague sense of value. but I think they've just got it so wrong here. Their AI, or athlete intelligence as they call it, is just dumb. It will take the basic data of your ride and give you a very general synopsis of what you did, which I think is useless, because guess what? You just did that activity. It will also feed off of your title and description, giving further unintelligent insights, and you can have very good fun with this. But I think my real issues with this feature boil down to two main concerns. Firstly, the AI feedback lacks any sort of real purpose. For a newer rider, it doesn't offer any helpful tips about, I don't know, like pacing a climb more effectively. And for an experienced rider, I'm getting no helpful insight. And secondly, this feature is being described or sold as a benefit of my subscription. But if I don't find it useful and I don't want it, then why do I have to pay for it? While we're on the AI subject, Strava has started providing you with performance predictions, and they're mostly aimed at runners. Unfortunately, once again, I have found them to be a bit useless. While I was training for a half earlier this year, I did some 5 and 10 kilometer tests to try out my race day pacing. Now, during this test, I actually set a 10 kilometer PB. Thank you very much. Yet when Strava adjusted for the predicted 10K time, it was slower than I'd just run, which makes no sense. And then when I did my half, I ran something like 5 minutes faster than Strava said. If you're not a big runner, that might not sound like a lot, but it's an absolute chasm when it comes to pacing, so I really wouldn't follow its guidance too closely. So thankfully, these features aren't actually anything to do with cyclists, because that would just be dumb. Thankfully, you can turn the AI off if you have a premium subscription. If you don't, you're kind of stuck with it. Okay, I think it's a good time to look at some Strava alternatives. Now, if you see a ride-sharing app like Strava as just another social media platform, then I think Strava is kind of the best. It has good chat functions, and being able to export a little data overlay of your activity so that you can brag on Insta, that's great. It's also the best if you just love chasing segments or comparing climbing times, especially against your mates. For gravel riding and mapping adventure rides, Komoot would be my choice, especially just the free version. It has a whole community around it, and I can't describe how useful I find the notes feature when people can kind of describe trail conditions and give pointers. Finding decent gravel in the UK is sometimes a bit tricky, so having this info is incredibly useful. The best free alternative though has to be Garmin Connect. The mapping is good, the amount of data available is way better than in Strava, its training tools are decent. It's a little messy in their layout, but Garmin's pre-made coaching plans are also decent. But I don't think that Garmin can really match the community elements of Strava, so it's probably one for those of you, WASP, that want to analyze your data and just track your rides. And so that really brings me onto the question that I've been considering a lot recently, especially as I look to reduce some of my subscriptions. Will I keep my subscription to Strava going next year? There are some things that really frustrate me, but for the amount that I use it, I think the price is fair enough, so I'll kind of leave my subscription rolling for next year. That said, I really want Strava to go back to focusing on some of the central features that people sign up for. So can they bring the data analysis up to the level of Garmin Connect? Can their mapping adopt any of the features that make Komoot great for adventure rides? And can it improve some of those woeful AI features? I think if they do that, then it will continue, for me at least, to be worth paying for. But is it worth it for you? Let me know if you have Strava Premium and why in the comments. And then remember, if you like this video, to like it, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and we'll see you next time. If you subscribe. If you don't, you'll never see me again. It's the good thing about DJIs, you can run over them. The screen is not fine.